Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing Channel. My name is Jikara, and I'm a spiritual healing facilitator. And today we're going to talk about embracing your full self with play. I have an amazing, amazing healer and intuitive artist who is going to be talking about how we can bring more play into our lives and also how we can weave in more of that self acceptance through play. But before we get started, before I bring her in, I just kind of want to drop into gratitude for those of you who are part of the Cosmic Light Activation membership. Thank you so much for being part of this. I am so excited to have you as part of the channel. You are basically the backbone of this channel. So I'm gonna place your names here just to kind of celebrate y'all, and kind of want to take a moment to invite you if you are interested in joining the Cosmic Light Activation membership. Please do consider going into my website, thebloominglotushealing.com, so that you can sign up for my email list so that you know when I open the doors to this membership next. And if you want to support right now, please make sure that you share and like this video, as well as subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed yet. But we are now going to dive into the conversation with Jenny Sapito. And so just kind of wanted to share with you a little bit about her. So she's an intuitive artist. She's a visual designer. She's also an energy worker, a mystic, and she loves to awaken hearts and creativity through intentional play with the imagination, color, sound, and the elements. She's remembering the love song that created the universe and is inviting others to remember with her. And so I am so excited to bring her in. And so let me just go ahead and bring her. Hi,
Hi,
welcome.
thank you so much for having me here.
I'm so excited to have you, and I'm so grateful. And I've been praying for for this moment to happen, and it's finally happened. And I'm so excited to have you because of how much medicine you have personally brought into my life, and just by being in your presence, right? And even in conversation, and I've received healing from you, and I've witnessed and received your incredible power. And so thank you for saying yes to sharing your energy and your time and your presence here with us.
Oh, of course, Jikara, it's my pleasure.
So I kind of wanted to, for a lot of people don't know who you are, and they might want to know a little bit more about you. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and how do you find yourself in the space of, um, you know, of inviting more play into your life?
Oh my goodness, I'm grateful to have been raised by a very imaginative mother who invited that state of play, and my dad too. They're very playful people, and it's it's something that I've noticed has been missing, like in the general day-to-day living, is the state of play. And for me, I've always retained this creativity and this sort of imaginative world that has helped me navigate difficulties, has helped me navigate conflict, and just the things I've been seeing in the world of suffering.
Mm,
And it's the state of imagination that has allowed me to connect to possibility. And there have been times in my life where I didn't feel connected with imagination. I didn't feel connected to creativity as much. I didn't really feel connected to possibility. I got stuck, or felt stuck, in this world of confining of what is right, what is acceptable, what uh, what is needed to be done, like the shoulds. And I felt that I had to subscribe to this, otherwise I wouldn't belong.
mm,
Subscribe to these sort of beliefs, these sort of conforming to belong, to be a part of society, to be accepted, to feel like I was doing my thing in terms of the system that we've created. And what I started to learn, and this was like through a bunch of mystical experiences, including a spiritual awakening in 2016, the night of the the US presidential election. And it was following my intuition and the messages that I was receiving from my heart, and saying yes, and starting to say yes, even when it felt uncomfortable, when it felt scary, just saying yes more. And then realizing that whenever I said yes, whenever there was this sort of yes behind this like fear, that I started to discover more and more of myself, and started to recognize that the imagination is much more than just something like a fantasy that we've been told not even to connect to. That it's like, what's the point? What's the point of daydreaming? What's the point of dreaming? What's the point of imagining, when the imagination and creativity has allowed us to be here? This is this is
Yes.
like this. It's everything here that we have here has been imagined. Like this computer, the ability for us to connect like this, absolutely everything around us when we start to think about it. So what I started to get a sense of is this connection to play, this connection to possibility, to just it's exploration, it's curiosity, and how to go forth with a sound connection to the heart. And I started to recognize like how society, we fear these states and these places of possibility and the unknown. And that's what we've been recognizing a lot lately, especially with what happened with the pandemic, the recent pandemic, is this fear of the unknown, this fear of possibility, this fear of loss of control. And so we have been in the state of fear of that. And what we deprive ourselves from is the world of possibility and fun and enjoyment that comes with the unknown. It's something, they both come together. So it's this loss of control that when we're in a state of play, we cannot control outcome. It's being open to outcome. It's being open to this concept of winning and losing. Like you wouldn't go play a game because you're going to be sure of winning. There's that potential you might not win. You might not be the one who ends up as the winner, whatever that means. And so like allowing ourselves to be in this state of play, imagination, and from there we begin creating. And once we connect to the heart and we understand, okay, I'm grounded in my body. I'm not there is a sense of grounding, so it's not like I'm completely out of this world and free floating, because that's where like things get a little wonky. Just to be connected to the body, it started connecting to the heart, and then navigating that unknown, that space of infinite possibility from there, and then see what we start to bring in. And I've been contending a lot with this state of play, my imagination, my abilities as an artist, my being able to bring in from that imaginative space and ground it here through art, through speaking, through connections. And it's been challenging. I'll say it's super challenging. And there have been times when I felt like it wasn't worth it. And I felt like, who cares? Like I was thinking like, who cares about this art? Who cares about these things? They don't mean anything. Like I was just really judging myself and putting a lot of judgment on myself and what I was creating and what I was bringing forth, or even the desire, just the desire to be more creative, to have more fun within my life. I was placing a lot of judgment onto myself, and I've noticed that a lot of people do that as well. We get so caught up in the survival mode of just trying to get through that we lose sight of play, of fun, of possibility, of creativity. And these are very important. Even Einstein would place the importance on the imagination over everything else. Like, he had his mathematics, he had his sense of physics, and yet the imagination was what he placed importance on, because that ultimately, when we start to recognize how to navigate the imagination and to delve in there more, and to be in a state of receiving information, receiving visuals, receiving even the sounds that are in our environment, just to be in that state, it opens things up. And then we start to find solutions. We start to find possibilities that answer questions that we might have had personally, and also as a society. And that's the beauty of connecting to this space. And yeah, I would love to talk about how how it can be cringy.
Sometimes, especially, like, I feel like when we think about embracing, and first of all, embracing ourselves can be challenging on its own. Like, that's its own, let's say, uh, animal, right? But then when you bring in play, that also adds another aspect that can potentially create a sort of a resistance, especially because of the way we may have been raised in regards to, you gotta, the mentality or the programming that we have in society of, like, you gotta work, you gotta, do, and, like, be like this, and, like, adult, and, which, of course, there's nothing wrong with that, absolutely not. But then there's also this, like, disdain that we feel towards play, because it's the opposite of work, right? However, the more we bring in more of that play into our lives, that I feel it makes life so much more fun. You know what I mean? But it's like recognizing that space, that aspect, and giving it the importance that it needs. And kind of like what you're saying about the imagination. I mean, I just think about when I was a kid, I could just play with sticks, like, go outside and take some, like, little sticks and little leaves and pretend that these were, like, I don't know, like, it was a car or whatever. I don't know, like, whatever, right? And I would just go into that space of just imagining and connecting to this. It feels very expansive, actually. It's very expansive when you connect to that, to those spaces. And then not judge ourselves, right? While we're doing, I wasn't judging myself, and I was like, oh my God, like, who am I to think that this stick is, I don't know, whatever, and so when we go back into recognizing, okay, maybe judgment is stuck, keeping me stuck, right, in that space of connection to myself, and connection to play, and my imagination and my creativity, and kind of like how you said too, everything that we have on this planet that's man-made came from the imagination. So the imagination is, like, quite a powerful tool for us to move forward as humanity. That's what brings all the technologies, that's what brings all the changes, all the industrious part of us is through the imagination. And so when we can see it from that space of, it can be productive to play and be and connect with our imagination, then we can maybe shift that perspective a little bit. But there's a question here from Cece. She's asking, what is your best advice to tap into our imagination?
Oh, I love it. Thank you for the question, Cece. What's the best way? There's so many ways. And it's ultimately arriving at a state of relaxation as much as possible, which I know can often be challenging, especially for some of us who've experienced trauma or who are in a state of fight or flight naturally. And that's been where I've been. Like, I've had a lot of trauma. I've had anxiety, actually debilitating anxiety. And I've had to meet that anxiety through a lens of understanding that it was my imagination kind of going out of control. So anxiety is such an interesting thing, because it's like you're imagining, like, this is going to happen. They're saying this about me. Oh, this is like, this is going to fail, or this is this. It's your imagination. And so I love it when people say, like, oh, I don't have an imagination, I'm not creative. We're creating stories all the time. We're creating these stories all the time. And just to recognize that, okay, I have this power. How do I connect to it in a way that it's actually, we're collaborating together? And it's a different sort of energy. So allowing the self to start calming down and just allowing yourself to be in the moment and start trusting in the moment and saying, like, okay, I'm safe, I am here, I am present, I am receiving, I am willing to receive. And you can either be in this space with your eyes closed and start receiving, start playing, start letting your mind sort of wander as if you're viewing a sky with clouds, and you're just allowing yourself to see and to focus without the need to define. And that's something that actually came to me in a medicine ceremony recently, was this idea of focusing without the need to define. So just allowing yourself to be in this state and see what comes. If there are a lot of thoughts, that's okay, and just allowing those thoughts to come. Maybe there are thoughts you want to play with. Maybe there are things you want to start making connections with. You can also, if you want to look, you can look outside into nature. Right now I'm living in the forest in San Francisco, and so I have this beautiful scenery with trees and birds, and just allowing yourself to observe nature, connect to nature, and listen deeply. Start listening, seeing what comes up for you, seeing how nature interacts with itself. And I say nature as if it's an outside thing, even though we are nature. Yet for the sake of people's familiarity, just nature outside of ourselves, the plants and the birds and the bugs and the animals, and seeing just how they interact with each other, and what stories can we create from there in terms of like how things came to be. When I was in third grade, one of the exercises we had was a pourquoi, like seeing something and then asking, like, why, how did that come to be? And just start playing with that. Like, how did this came to be? How did this pen come to be? Maybe there was a lover who just wanted to express his heart's desire and just couldn't find a way to do it in a fast way, so he invented this pen. It's something like that. You start creating stories for yourself, or you start also recognizing in your own life the fantastical stories, the funny moments. And when we focus on things in our lives, it comes more and more. Like when people tell me, like, when they start looking for a car, they start seeing that car more often. So same thing happens with our own life. We can start asking to remember our imagination, our state of play, our creativity, and the funny moments, the humorous moments. Excuse me. Yeah, the funny moments that we have in our life. Like, I've been collecting things that my friends say that are really funny, and then I'll share it with them when they don't expect it. And it's hilarious because they don't realize that I'm writing this down. And then we have it there as like this creative moment, this funny moment that that just unfolded without us even trying. And so, yeah, let's see. What else is there? There's also taking a look at colors and symbols. I'm a graphic designer. And so for me, I've connected to colors and to symbols, and they speak to us and they have conversations with us. Like, for example, green. Like, I'm wearing green. It helps me connect to the plants and to my heart and to possibility, to richness, to abundance. And Jikara, you're wearing pink, which is love and softness and grace. And I was actually thinking I would wear pink, but I was like, I don't have very much pink stuff. So we would have been twins.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we could have been wearing the same color, because that's the color I love, that coral pink. And so, yeah, just recognizing that our colors speak to us. What color do we want to play with today? What color would we want to wear? What's our relationship to this particular color? Like, why don't I like orange, for example? Like, why do I have an aversion to it? Like, each of the colors have qualities that they're different. They don't say the same thing all the time. It's like us. Like, each of us. I'm not going to be Miss Happy all the time. I have my moods. I have my my shadows, and I have different parts and aspects to me. Well, very multidimensional, and colors are multidimensional too. So I mean, we can start relating to these aspects that we often take for granted. Like, we sometimes don't want to pay attention to it. We could be gravitating towards a closet full of black clothes. I did that at one point because it was easy. And then start seeing, like, how can we be more playful with this and incorporating more color and seeing which ones are speaking to me, seeing which ones I might need a little bit of it. Like, for example, if you have yellow, you can start contemplating yellow. Yellow connects with our willpower, with our courage, our ability to stand in the world, to speak, to be in our power, to have this golden energy and emanate this energy from the core, the root of in between our root and our heart, from the core of our being. And so maybe we need some yellow if we're feeling a little discouraged, if we're feeling like I don't matter, or I don't belong here, or no one sees me or recognizes me. It's connecting to yellow. And you don't have to even wear it if it's something you don't want to wear. You can write with a yellow pen, or you can have a yellow cup, or have a spot of yellow in your vicinity. And so there's so many beautiful ways to play with color. And then, I mean, that's not even actually creating a piece of art. Then if you want to, you could start putting it on paper and playing there and seeing what comes up. I have found that a lot of my favorite art pieces were created without any intention or any idea of what was going to come out. It was just emergent, and something emerged. And that's a lovely place to be in, when you stop holding yourself to, it's got to look like this, and it's got to make money, and it's got to, I don't know, travel the world and do da da da. Like, just start simple. You can start simple and just stop holding ourselves to these what's it called? Megalithic. I'm not sure what the word is, but just ginormous impositioning ideas. And that's also something that I can segue into, because you mentioned judgment, Jikara, like self-judgment.
Yeah. And Cece was also asking, like, how can she about judgment too, like how can she move past that in that process. So I'm assuming you're going to be segueing into that too.
Yeah. Perfect. Wow.
It's like perfect. It's like perfect conversation right here.
We're in sync here. It's unfolding. And yeah, judgment. So this is just something I was able to formulate into words as of yesterday, thanks to my dear friend Champoy, who lent me this book called Free Play. And we essentially have two forms of judgment that play within us. Because as artists and creators, we have two essences, and that's the muse and the critic. And they interplay. You're going to have both. Because the muse is what like creates inspiration. It's that flow. It's what emerges. And then the critic is the one who says, well, like, what if it looked this way? Or what if we did this? Or it's a sort of play between flow and then a little bit of self-constraint. And the key here is making sure that self-constraint doesn't come before the muse. Because when that comes before the muse, then you cut yourself. You're self-censoring. You're shutting yourself down immediately before it even has a chance to blossom, to go anywhere. So understanding that there's two forms of judgment. It's obstructive judgment and constructive judgment. Obstructive is when the judgment gets in the way of what you're creating. You won't even create because you already have a boulder in front of you. You're just not going to move. You've created this giant boulder on your table, on the piece of paper you're going to work on. And you're just like, and then you forget that you're the one who created the boulder in the first place. It's not there. It's not real. It's an illusion. It's something that's been put there. And you can ask yourself, where did this boulder come from? Where did this judgment come from? Who told me I could not create and put my pen to paper and start making stuff? Or who told me that my art doesn't matter? Who told me my voice doesn't matter? Who told me this? Like, where did I get this story from? And a lot of these stories are there. Like, it could be in social media. It could be what we derive from social media. It could be what we derive from advertisements, from movies, from TV and books. All these things have been created in a system that is connected to a very limited, very mind-heavy point of view. So when we start connecting to the heart, the compassion within ourselves. Hi, Kitty.
Yeah. Jazz is in the house. Making his entrance. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
No, it's totally okay. I love it when animals come around when we're speaking or connecting, because they're enjoying it and they're receiving the energy.
Yeah, exactly. Now everyone knows me. Like now every time I'm going live, I have like his tail on my face all the time. It's a running gag now by now.
Sweet.
But yeah, so you were saying that the obstructive is the one where you have the giant boulder, and going into like trying to figure out, like, and of course these could potentially come from social media and the movies, or or even maybe something that was told to us, right, growing up, or maybe by someone that we care about. Maybe we care about their opinion of us. And so how can we move past that though? Like what do you think would be the best way to move past that specific experience, especially if we because if you think about Boulder, that feels heavy. That's a heavy thing to move.
Yeah, and it's like I mentioned, it's an illusion. It's something that's been created that we can remove with very easily, like gliding.
I see what you're saying.
That we can do that. We can remove that. It's an illusion. It's starting to recognize what is illusion and what is truth. And
I
that's
love
been
that.
a large part of my journey as well. How do I recognize illusion from truth? What is true? What is not true? And truth can be subjective. We have many different truths in our lives. It's recognizing what is truth for me. what is my truth? In the infinite realms of truths, I try to connect to the universal truth as much as possible, and that is, I feel, beyond my human capacity at times. My spirit and my soul knows. My human capacity, it's more challenging to be able to recognize the truths. The truth is a very many-eyed entity. It has infinite numbers of eyes and witnessing. And so recognizing what is our truth, is it that belief that my art isn't any good, I could never get anywhere with it, or it's a belief. It's not a truth. We don't know what we don't know. And so just allowing ourselves to feel unburdened from these the obstructive judgment that will get in the way and be like, no, don't go here. And also being patient with us if that is happening. It's not like you got to do this and starting to be punitive about it and angry at ourselves about it because it's not flowing the way we want it to flow. There's a gentleness that is offered to us in those moments of frustration, of blockaging. There's a gentleness that we can come into. Sometimes if I feel like I'm arriving at a place where I don't have the flow of creativity or imagination, just taking a walk helps. Being in the body, going outside, taking a walk, or dancing. I take so many dance breaks and just dancing and moving and just being in the movement and seeing where there's some resistance in your body too. If you might feel like this feels corny or like, yeah, I'm a dork. I mean, I'm a professional, unprofessional dancer.
I love it.
That's what I say. I'm not here, I'm not going to be doing a tango and just like, getting the applause at the end. Maybe not yet. I don't know. I'm open to it.
Yeah.
Right now, just putting a song on that feels good, that the lyrics feel in alignment with me and a good vibe. And then I just see what happens. And then I'm like, okay. After a while, I start getting this energy and this resonance, and it feels like I'm in an altered state.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. That's incredible. And I love what you're talking about here, because it's all about going back to that acceptance, right? Like accepting what is, right? Accepting what your where what your expression is, whatever that looks like. It's okay. And also, so Cece was mentioning also, she mentioned that now she's going to have to start figuring out why she doesn't like red clothes, because she was referring to when you were talking about color, and like kind of like exploring why certain colors don't resonate with us. Then she was mentioning that that she might need to start pondering why she doesn't like red clothes. Which is, I mean, how I guess it's that's where we can tap into the imagination, right? And try to tap into that space of finding out what is it, and let our imagination kind of show us what is showing up for us, or maybe we can tell the story to make it more tell the story or connect to a story behind that, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So there you go. You can tell a story to yourself, or maybe feel into what story comes up for you, Cece, for the red clothes, and then go from there. And she was also saying that she's just realizing that her story, and I think she's talking about more on the expression. Her story came from a drama teacher when she sang a song on stage and she saw him giggling in the crowd, and she did not want to express herself in that way again for fear of laughter. That's intense. Yeah.
Oh, I feel that.
Yeah. I receive you, Cece.
Yeah, receiving you, CC. With that is really tender to be in a state of your expression and to have someone meet it with that reaction. And sometimes, yeah, there's a story behind that too. Like, what was the story because of that teacher's laughter? We don't even know if, like, sometimes we receive a reaction or response and we're not even sure what's behind it too. And yet to honor ourselves at that moment of what that story created for us is important. And I mean, yeah, it could have been that they were laughing because something else happened. Yet that timing of that situation, what it brings up, is so interesting. How we carry those stories with us, and they shift who we are, how we show up in the world. So how do we create stories for ourselves that are more liberating and more freeing, and start being open to the possibility of receiving experiences that are beyond what we can think of, beyond our mind. And
And I feel that also, when we just by you sharing this, Cece, I feel like that in itself is healing, right? Like being received right now with this story, and then being able to create that safe space for you to be in that acceptance of that existence of the story in your mind, because it exists there. So being in that acceptance of that existing in there, and then moving towards, of course, when you feel ready, towards recreating that story, right? Like rewriting the story. That's what I mean. I recently, well, not recently, this was like a couple years ago, I sat with the sound healer, and I was telling her about some experience with my mom, and it was just so difficult. And she told me to do this exercise. I don't know if I shared this with you, Jenny, when we were weaving together, but what she mentioned was to write what happened. So basically, this is the first step. You just wrote what happened, Cece, and then the second step is to write what we wish would have happened. And no, write what we perceived, write what happened, and then write what we wished would have happened. So to like rewrite the story of what we wish would have happened. And there was something about it. She said, continue writing until you cry. That's quite literally what she told me. Continue writing until you cry. And when I did that exercise, oh my goodness, when I tell you, it was so powerful. I released so much. I did end up crying, and it was just like there was like this feeling of surrender that happened at that moment, where I was able to accept what happened, and then I was able to say, okay, well, this is it. Like, I wish this would have happened, but this is what happened, and I came into that surrender, which was so beautiful. So I don't know, maybe you can use that as a tool for yourself, CC, and see if that helps you. She's saying, thank you. I did not expect this story to come up for me during this conversation. I will definitely look into this more. Yeah, of course. Yeah. This is the magic of Jenny, y'all. This is it. You're experiencing the magic right now.
Oh,
This
Carol.
is her magic right here. It's well, one of her many aspects of her magic, because she carries magic in many ways. But this is it. It's having these safe conversations, to where you can be received and also witnessed, and but then also, um get some invitations to look within, from a place of safety, which is so beautiful. And I feel like the way that you invite us to bring in more play into our practices, that I feel feels so safe, right? Like it's such a safe space for us to connect to, for us to connect to our stories, to connect to our imagination, to connect to our minds from a place of joy, and a place of connection and embodiment, like mind and body, and so what would you recommend for someone who wants to weave in more play into their lives, and try to introduce this practice? What would you have them start, if this was something that they wanted to start, weaving in to their daily routine?
Yeah. So those imagination practices that I brought up in earlier, those are very helpful. And something you brought up just now, Jikara, was this self-witnessing, and being able to acknowledge the emotions that we're feeling. And this is I would say this is something that you carry on day to day in terms of self-recognition, self-awareness, self-acceptance, is this play of emotion and allowing ourselves to be in spaces where we can explore those emotional states and the emotions that are we're carrying within us. And so I'm not going to say do this at work.
Definitely not.
So I know that a lot of us spend so much of our time at a job, at a 9 to 5 business. I spent many years in that and could potentially dip my toe back into there again. Though I feel it's really important for us to allow ourselves a daily practice space, a space of maybe an hour, if you can, if that feels too spacious for you, or if that doesn't feel feasible with your schedule. 5 minutes, just a bit of time to allow yourself to self-connect. And in that space, you do something you love. You can be in a state of breathing and just self-connecting to your heart. Or you make a doodle, find a pad of paper. One of my favorite tools, it's so funny, is my sister had all these pads of paper given to her for one of her old jobs with her name on it and her phone number. And she gave them to me because they gave her like 5 of them, these blank pads of paper. And those have been my favorite. It's been my favorite tool because it feels so inconsequential. And some of my best thoughts, my best, well, I'm not going to say best, but just like the ones I connect to really strongly. Some of my thoughts and art pieces and doodles have come from that. Like I had a whole painting come from a doodle that I created on that pad of paper because it didn't feel so precious. I stopped making it so precious and started putting like, oh my gosh, if I don't like creating this story, like I am going to destroy the world if I don't put this doodle in the right place. Just we start making things so monumental for ourselves. So yeah, having that practice of drawing, could be singing. I've been connecting to the voice a lot, and that's actually something that I offer as well, is vocal healings with my voice. And that was something really vulnerable to start recognizing and playing with, is the voice, because I spent most of my childhood really quiet and known for being very shy and very observant and quiet, kind of in the background. And then to come into my voice and start playing with that, my goodness, a whole new world. And that's a weird Little Mermaid pun too, I guess. Yeah. Yes, that's the story. That's part of my story. To be part of your world with my voice. Yeah. So taking times, washing dishes, singing a song, like having the water drown out my voice from the neighbors, maybe, but singing to myself, playing with just how the sound works in the body.
Yeah.
And I throw my voice to my feet. What does that sound like?
Oh, wow. I love that.
What does it mean to throw my voice over to my right side, to the right part of my body? What does it mean to make my voice go into my pineal gland? What does it mean to start playing? And and it's been one of the most exciting things for me, because how can you ever be bored? You got yourself, you got your voice. You don't, like, you don't even have to be dancing, and then you can start mixing things together, playing with things coming together. What does it mean to dance and sing? What does it mean to dance and draw? What does it mean to sing and draw? What does it mean to walk and sing? What does it mean to work and sing? I mean, whistle while you work, right? Like all these Disney gems. these things resonate with us for a reason. There's this play and imagination that we're being shown. We're paying money to go see movies and to see people play. People have we pay. This is like a tongue twister. We paid to see people play.
Yeah, that's
We're
true.
doing it ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. When we can play ourselves. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah,
And
and we
you're making me think of also like how like like doing things such as dancing and even acting or singing or drawing or whatever that looks like, whatever what because everyone's going to have something that calls them the most, right? But like when I think about that, it feels so exciting and refreshing too, when we can put ourselves in that space, whatever that space calls for us, right? And allow ourselves to be in that imaginative state. I think that's one of the reasons why I loved reading books so much when I was a kid. It's because I could really enter my imagination and see the world through the lens of the writer. But obviously, the writer took me there through their words, right? And so, or the author took me there through their words, but I could expand even more in my own imagination based on those words. The words were basically it was like the initial activation, and then from there it just kind of like expands into the mind and connects like into this beautiful world world or make believe world that we have, but it feels so real inside of us when we are reading. I don't know if that's happened for you when you're reading a book or a novel, and you're just like you're in it and you're so immersed in that in that story, and it's just like you're invested in such a way. And that's the reason why they say, oh, the book is never the same than the movie. There is a reason why, because our imagination has so much depth.
exactly.
It's
Mhm.
got a depth that a movie can never compare to.
Yeah,
That at least that's what I feel. That's where I'm kind of having that realization now that we're talking. Because I was always wondering, why are books better than the movies? That's why, it's the imagination.
exactly. You can create a 360 world with your imagination, and and the movie is just offering you this like linear kind of follow. Yeah, so like when we have a book, you can imagine like the protagonist a certain way and have that image of that protagonist play out in the movie in your mind, and it's different in the movie, and it feels so final.
Yes.
The movie feels so final, and like the book is like inviting. You can create
Yes.
details of how a space looks. You can create spin-offs of that world too, and it can also influence what you create or what you imagine. Like things like Harry Potter, so rich in symbols and in archetypes and different worlds, the idea of traveling to different worlds. And this is a very expansive universe. This is not the only planet here.
Yeah.
We are very, like, we are often limiting ourselves to what is capable of happening in this reality. And so this idea of moving into different worlds, it happens on a day-to-day basis sometimes, and we're not even recognizing being transported into an underground subway system and then showing up at another place. There's magic in that.
Yes.
There's magic in that. We take it for granted because it's just what we do. We go in a vehicle, and then we start in the city and then end up at an ocean at the beach.
Yes.
Like, look at that.
Yeah.
There's a sense of magic in that.
There is.
And then how do we create that journey? How do we invite that journey to be more fun and to be more enjoyable? To be in that the state of flow and just seeing what happens, instead of meeting that journey as like, oh, I have to go to work and it's going to be traffic and there's going to be this person and that person and this car and we can meet it with that sort of obstructive judgment. It's like that kind of like this already like shutting things down, or we can open things up a little bit more, seeing what happens in that flow. And the other judgment that I don't know if I mentioned earlier was constructive judgment. So constructive judgment, you're creating. It's a creative process. It's that the constructive judgment is what I see when there's an issue. It could be something within our own personal lives, or it could be something on a larger scale. Yet, how do we approach this in a way that it's different? Or what is available to us so we can meet this issue from a new perspective, with a new way, with a new behavior? So then something gets created from there, because you're perceiving there's something here. That's like kind of like a judgment. There's something here that needs to shift. And then seeing what is created from that space of tension.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I'm so grateful that you're talking about judgment, because before we got live, I was just telling you about my own, self-judgment, yeah, journey, which has been a journey of shedding so much, and it's like there's so much entanglement that comes in from that space, and a lot of it, um, seems like it's my own story, but then when I go into the depths of it, I find the root causes a lot of times comes from outside, gets internalized, and then we just kind of we just operate on that space without even realizing that we're operating from that space of judgment. And it can take away so much of that acceptance out of our hands, out of our being, out of our experience, and in turn bringing so much suffering and pain. And so I love how this is just basically the opposite, and seeing, and again, you're bringing in with the constructive judgment, you're still bringing in creativity, so that comes to show how creativity is such an important aspect of our journey of acceptance. And I feel that also, that's something that I've experienced when I've painted, like when I've done painting or I've done meta painting classes. And I notice with some of my students, I will notice how they sometimes get stuck and they have to take a break to breathe and then come back to the painting, because they're putting so much pressure, kind of going back to what you were saying about like it has to look like this and that and like da, 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 and then you like have this whole story that you come in with, right? And so how can we release those stories and come in with an open heart and allow our story to unfold in that process of creativity, instead of coming in with a self-imposed judgment or story. So anyway, so I guess, I hope that everyone that is listening to this, whether you're here live or on the replay, I hope that this conversation is helping you see maybe what parts of you can bring more play into your life. Where can you bring more play into your life? Where can you bring more of that color, that connection to color into your life, or the connection to dance or anything creative into your life, so that you can weave in that beauty of who you are, of the expression of who you are, so that you can see yourself fully, without the lens of judgment and without the lens of perfection, or the stories that are keeping you bound into just stuck or bound, or I don't know, like I guess just in this story of incapability of creation, which is so not true. We are all so creative in our own unique way, and our creativity is going to show up in many different ways. It doesn't have to show up in the way that it's perceived that creatives are. Of course, there's the creativity that comes through the process of making art, and maybe being an actor, an actress, or writing. There's so many ways, but there's also other ways that you're creating, such as cooking,
Cooking,
or
gardening.
organizing your home, and or even the way that you create your own, when you're creating your own program, for example, or your own schedule. That's creative as well. Everything has an essence of creativity in there. So I hope this conversation inspires y'all to connect deeper into it. And so I kind of wanted to weave in any more, if anyone has any more questions for Jenny, if you are inspired by this conversation, or maybe you have a question um, about how to bring more creativity, or how to connect to color, or maybe you have a question about colors. I think she would be the best person to answer you about colors and the meaning, or the essence, or the energy of that color. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. But I kind of wanted to ask you, Jenny, did you want to share some healing into the space with your voice today?
Yes, I feel called to share.
Yes,
Love
awesome.
to. I can also make this I can also make this an invitation to play with me with the voice.
I love that.
Why
Okay.
not, right? Because we all have, I mean, if you have a voice, you have the capability to connect with it and to bring yourself healing and self-soothe. And even right now, I wanted to remark too, when we were talking about our judging voices, we were giving it a voice.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's important. We can give that judgment a voice and make it playful. Like, what does your judgment voice sound like? Is it like gruffy and low, like, why are you doing this? Or is it like really high and nagging and like, you can play with that. What
Yeah.
is, what does that judging voice sound like? And then, like, just see how do we respond. It could be like, shut up, stop, or who knows, like just allowing ourselves to be more playful in that way, and give ourselves voices. It's not even just a voice. We can give ourselves voices.
I love that. I love that so much. Yes, I love that. And yeah, let's come out and play. Who wants to come out and play? I'm definitely ready to come out and play. And yeah, Arlene is actually asking a question. If you gravitate towards a color, is that a signal to do chakra balancing?
Oh, that's interesting. I would say it depends. It depends. Maybe it could be that color, if you're gravitating towards a color like orange, for example, it could mean that you are opening up to being more creative. You're there's something emotional that you're wanting to tend to. So it could be that there is an imbalance. And I would say try meditating with that color and connecting with it deeply. And you can do things like like the way I connect with colors, even in my vocal healing, which is where I connect to your energy system, and then I see like what color is needed, or what colors are very pronounced, or what energies are very pronounced, and what is receding. And then I can connect to just like touching the color and it helps me connect to that frequency. And then I can start vocalizing that frequency into the other person's field. And so you don't need to, I mean, the crystals help a lot too. They have that frequency of the color. And I'm starting to learn that just by, like, this is a pen. It's just an ordinary pen. And I can still start connecting to it. And something that I can do and invite you to play with as well is start having things speak to you. Like for me, I connect to the pen and the color, and then ask, okay, guidance, where does this color feel connected to in terms of my energy system? And then it will naturally go down to my sacral. It's just really amazing because I've been developing this sensitivity, this energetic sensitivity, to feel into energy. And so yeah, I started playing around with that. Like I want to do it blind, see what happens. Actually, I have not tried that yet, to see if it'll correlate without me even thinking about the color or looking at it, to see where it lands. But yeah.
So she says thank you. So then she her mind is blown. She just did like a little emoji with a mind blown. She's like, whoa. And yeah, and actually I want to take a moment, if you're connecting with Jenny and you're connecting to her heart and to her energy, I just kind of wanted to invite y'all to go over to her Instagram and make sure that you follow her on Instagram at Sapito, SAPITO.studio. And she shares some of her artwork there, and some musings in there to inspire. And so I love following her and receiving her medicine. And then also, and I don't know if this is something that you're open to it yet or not, but when she is available for sessions, she will post it there as well on her Instagram, because she has done sessions for me, and they've been very, very powerful, using her voice, and it was incredible. It was incredible both times. One time it was one-on-one, and the other time was with a group. It was a group session where she did the voice as well, and it was really powerful. And you really feel it, the energy just moving around. It was really, at first I was like, whoa, like you can do that with a voice. Like it was just, I was like really blown away when she did that. And so Highly recommend her. She's got powerful medicine. And again, like I said at the beginning, it took me a little while to get her here, but here she is. And hopefully y'all want to bring her back, because we can talk more about play, more about colors. If you want to talk more about colors and all the different energies of the colors, we can always bring her back for that if you want to connect to that more. But she was feeling that it was important right now to talk about play and acceptance and self-acceptance. And I think, with the state of the world, I think we definitely need more play, right? And so I felt that too. So make sure that you go over to her Instagram and follow her, and so that so that you can when what things she has up her sleeve next, coming up. So okay, so I'm gonna let you basically take over and let us know what you want us to do, and how are we gonna play. You're the one that's gonna guide us today.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to guide us into this sort of vocal exercise, vocal embodiment exercise that I like to do in my sessions, before my sessions. This is if I ever need some alignment. And I invite you to play with your voice, see how it feels at different parts of the body. Maybe there are certain frequencies you don't feel comfortable with. Maybe you're concerned about how neighbors might feel, and that's okay. Maybe you're going to do it softly. Maybe there's more power that you're accessing right now. You can do it loudly. So I'm inviting you to just allow and see what happens. Maybe you don't want to do it right now and you can just listen. And that's okay, to be in a state of receiving. And so, yeah, let's start by getting comfortable on our seat. If you have some water, great to drink some water.
Okay, I'm drinking my water.
And I would also love to talk about water with you sometime, Jikara, because that's a whole other. I love water. It's so magical.
Absolutely. Okay. That door's always open, girl.
Yay.
More of your magic here, please.
Thank you. Okay, so I need you to get comfortable in your seat.
Okay.
And feeling your sit bones connecting to your chair. And you can do this exercise with your eyes open or your eyes closed. If you have your eyes closed, you can also use your eyes to kind of direct the sound voice to, or just be witness to what shows up. Sometimes when we close our eyes and use the voice, could be vibrations that kind of show up visually. Who knows? Like just being open to what's there. Maybe you'll uncover a gift. Maybe you'll uncover a curiosity. And so it's just sitting, feeling your sit bones connect, having your eyes closed if that feels comfortable, or maybe having a soft gaze in front of you, just focusing, having a soft focus. And then I invite us to have 3 deep breaths. You can do this on your own pace, or you can follow me. Taking a deep breath inward through the nose, filling up your belly with air, and exhaling out the mouth. And if you want to vocalize, that helps. Again, breathing in through the nose, expanding the belly with air, and exhaling. Third time, breathing in through the nose, feeling the air go through your passageways into your belly. And exhaling. Just releasing. all that tension and feeling into the space, breathing normally. Maybe listening to the sounds around you. We have birds chirping. And then when you're ready, you can begin bringing in your voice into the space. And I like to start with the heart. So connecting with that space in the center of your being. So behind your breastplate and in front of your spine, connecting to this energetic center, this light that's there. And then we put a tone to bring connection to that space. And I like to start with an ah. You can feel the vibration where that vibration lands. The vibration. Recognizing the quality of your ah, like, is it feeling in your throat or is it feeling lower? Seeing if you can gently recline into the noise, to the sound of the ah. And then what I like to do in my sessions to go even more internal and go deeper, I actually hum the ah, close my mouth and then feel the ah within my chest. See how that feels. And when we close the mouth and we start using the voice in that space, you can feel the resonance in your bones. And it might sound like bees, and that bee frequency, if you want to connect to that, to the bees, and also invite that healing frequency of fertilizing and blossoming, of helping this earth feel nourished and expansive. And so we can do that one more time. Let's try that one more time with the ah, with the mouth closed. And just now we're going to connect to the root chakra, the root center, and that's connected to the color red. And it's a low frequency. It's pretty low. And so it might feel a little uncomfortable to get that low. And you can see how much you can relax into that tone, relaxing into that lower frequency. And maybe you might not be ready to get down to red right away. Maybe you want to go just a little bit lower and go to yellow into your solar plexus. So you can play, see where that sound lands. Yet it's nice to connect to the root and see if you can even bring that sound to your feet. And you can feel the vibration of that tone, the red, into your root, into your feet, into your lower bones. So inviting you to connect to that red frequency. And you can also have a pen or a color or visualize it, just sense into that red color. So you go low. This is really great for grounding. Okay, so you can listen to me first, and you can go ahead and try, and we'll do it with the mouth open first. And for that, I'll connect to an sound, so like a U, like UH, or you can play to see with an O or see where that brings you. Okay. A deep breath. Now, when you're ready, I invite you to try it with your mouth closed and see if you can feel those bones vibrating. And deep breath. You can notice the different qualities of the voice, and also you notice even the way I'm speaking has changed a bit. When we use the voice within our bodies, it can loosen things up, can loosen up stagnant energies, can create clearing. And if you practice it enough, you'll see that there's a difference. You'll feel an energetic difference within yourself. And if you start playing with this deeper tone, you'll start getting a sense of what that frequency of the earth feels like. It's low, the waveform is more spread out, so it's like a looser wave. And it invites us to slow down. It invites us to take rest. It invites us to connect to our sense of belonging here on this earth, belonging here as vibrational creatures with this capability of speaking, of using the voice. And working with the voice as our birthright, it's like how the birds sing. The birds have this capability of singing, and they know when to sing, and they know how to work with these melodies that come forth. And so we're being invited to connect to our voice as part of our medicine, as part of our song, the song of the earth. And when we connect to these deeper frequencies within our beings, within our cells, our DNA, we're connecting to the origins of the universe. So it's really profound once we start practicing and working with this. And when we're connecting to these origins and these vibrations and these capabilities, inviting the emotions to flow, the energies to flow. Sometimes there'd be tears. Like usually when I do these sessions, my eyes start to cry. And that's part of the energies that are being released within our bodies. So feeling into how you feel now that we've connected to the heart and connected to the earth, this red frequency, the green frequency of the heart. And if you feel ready, if you feel grounded, you can start playing with the third eye, which is a higher frequency. And it's important to connect to these, at least these two base centers, which is the root, making sure you're grounded, making sure your body feels relaxed and as easy as possible and at ease as possible. And the heart is that open receptivity, that openness to play, that infinite realm of compassion and forgiveness and witnessing that connects to everything. Just recognizing that you're worthy of being here. You're worthy because you are here. It's not even a question of worthiness. You are here. So you are here. You are here. Out of all infinite possibilities, you are here. And we're here to play together. We're here to play with each other, start playing within ourselves, and then inviting others to play with us. And when we connect to the heart, we also open up to the connection with others, finding those who are on our wavelength, finding those who want to play. I love it when kids, they naturally gravitate towards each other. There's no posturizing, there's no analytical thinking. There's no like, what do you do for work kind of thing. It's just openness to play. Because that's what we're here to do, is to create and play. Okay, so let's connect back. We can do an increase and come back to the heart space. So I like to start by connecting to the red frequency again. You can do this open mouth or closed mouth for a deeper feel. Connecting back to that lower frequency. You can begin by taking a deep breath. And then connecting to the heart with that ah, taking a deep breath. And then connecting to the third eye, which is E. And you might not be able to feel it as much with the mouth open. Maybe you can try with the mouth open first. Taking a breath. And for this one, we can connect to the indigo, a dark blue color, if that feels available and resonant to you. You can also use your hand to help direct the voice. And you can also use your eyes. Maybe putting your eyes towards your third eye while toning, having your hand on your third eye, a little above your eyebrows and towards the center of your forehead. And also visualizing this bright light that from where your finger is or from this place in your forehead going within your skull, within your brain, feeling into that light space and seeing like the quality of it. And then trying with your mouth closed and seeing how that feels. And this feels pretty amazing to me. So inviting those who are ready to connect with your third eye, closing the mouth, taking a deep breath in. And I'm not sure if it was picked up on the mic, yet there were some overtones I was playing with there. And that's another level of play to work with, is the tongue positioning and seeing what happens when you move your tongue in slight ways to the what happens to the vibration, how it affects the vibration, the noise, and the sound. And I like to play with the overtones, especially in my third eye, putting the tongue towards the roof of my mouth or moving it slightly towards the left or the right. And this helps bring in some frequencies that are from out of this world. So whenever I do this practice, I like to open up the space to the heart and make sure the container is also really clear. So to move without fear, just full embrace what's coming forth, knowing that this practice is to connect to the heart within and to connect to our medicine, the medicine of our bodies, the medicine of our being, and to bring in clarity and truth. So connecting to the third eye brings clarity, truth, knowing. And we give our minds a bad rap. A lot of the time we blame our minds or like to judge our minds or criticize our own minds for going and being within our minds so much. Yet our minds are beautiful and our minds are allies. We can work with our minds as allies and be in gratitude for the receptiveness of our mind to help us navigate the world and to sense and to feel, rooting into our nervous system and our capacity to feel and emote. So one last time to connect to the third eye with the E sound, maybe inviting some play with the tongue there. Taking a deep breath in.
That's incredible. I feel like we moved some energy for sure. I feel so relaxed and so grounded right now. Um, and um, and yeah, I was feeling the vibration in my in my body. And when you mentioned the bones, like I could feel that too. And I didn't, and I just did it. I wasn't too loud. I ended up muting myself because there was some people here. I don't know, that were cutting the grass, and I didn't want that to transfer into the conversation here. And so, but I'm glad I did, because then I left your voice in there, and I thought it was perfect. And so, yeah, Cece saying she feeling so grounded, and her stuffy nose is clear. And yeah, and then Chris says my eyes started watering right away. Loving this. That's incredible.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for practicing with me. And
Yeah, it's incredible. Thank you so much. And thank you for this gift, because it's something that we can do ourselves. And it's such a, we don't need any equipment. It's just basically us and our voice. That we are the equipment.
we are the instrument.
Yeah, we are the instrument. We are the instrument. So it's just incredible. And thank you so much for sharing this. And so yeah, so I hope everyone enjoyed this amazing session. This was a gift from Jenny. She just said, okay, we can do a little bit of toning, a little bit of connection with the voice. And what a gift, right? And so I want to invite y'all to, if you haven't done yet, to go into her Instagram and follow her, Sapito, Sapito dot studio, Sapito dot studio, so that you can connect with her, and really invite her energy into your space. She is such an amazing healer, amazing artist. As you can tell, her energy is amazing.
Oh,
And so it's just so beautiful and loving, and um, always connected to her heart. And I'm so grateful that you said yes, that you gave your sacred yes today to share and talk. And yes, I'd love to have you again, back again to talk. And this is these are the type of conversations I'm trying to bring and weave in, into the space. And the type of energy that I'm trying to weave in here is, really bringing the medicine from everyone. Everyone has so much medicine that can share, and then also activate our medicine that we carry. Like, that's what you did today. You activated us into our own medicine. So thank you for that gift. I'm so grateful. Look at that. She's dancing over here. I'm going to dance with you too.
please. I love this. Thank you so much, Jikara, for having this platform, inviting us to share our medicine and our voice. And it's just been an absolute joy connecting with you online and offline. And I'm so excited to see where this goes and see what
Yeah.
happens, because this is the state of play, right? We
Yeah.
sure what's will become of this, and we're open.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This is such an embodiment of play. Just the entire video was just play and allowing ourselves to be in that flow, and it's just amazing. And I'm so grateful for your time. And I want to thank each one of you for showing up today. Your time and energy and participation means so much to me. It means the world. Please do share this video if you feel that someone can potentially enjoy watching the replay. That replay is going to be available, even if you want to come back and maybe do a little bit of the exercise again, and receive some of that medicine again. The replay will be available for you. So but with that said, we're going to go ahead and weave in the closing for this live. And I want to invite y'all to share, like, subscribe if you haven't done so. And then also, again, I just kind of want to invite you to go over to Jenny's Instagram, Sapito, Sapito dot studio, Studio. And I have her also on my I actually added her on my on today's Instagram stories. So you can go there and just click on that story too if you want to just click on that directly and just follow her there. But yeah, so is there any closing thoughts that you would like to share before we go?
Yes. One thing that's important, drink water, especially after working with the voice. Drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated. It's really important. The more hydrated we are, the more we have access to our intuition. So yeah, and a lot of things move in these sessions when you start working with the voice and moving things around. I often leave sessions feeling altered, like as if I was in a medicine ceremony. And yeah, many things get restructured. So be gentle with yourself and ground if you can too. Being in nature, putting your bare feet on the soil helps a ton, because a lot of densities get moved around and the earth magnetizes those densities. It just takes it. It's such a beautiful gift to be on this planet and have a generous, nurturing earth that is supporting us. And she's here and she's asking for us to help her relieve us of these densities, and she magnetizes them easily. So, and if you can't find some soil or some nature, visualization is really important and strong. Yeah. So I just wanted to add that in terms of self-care, because this was a healing. And yeah, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. And I am currently working on my website, which is Sapito.studio. I have the domain. I am designing it. And as a designer, it can take some time because I want to have it filled with the frequencies that are healing and nurturing and enlivening for folk to look at. So my art has codes in it. I put a lot of intention and heart into my art. Art rhymes. Yeah, so excited to share more and keep practicing with the voice. The Little Mermaid came out at this time for a reason. There's a reason why the reboot came out at this time, and I started to get a sense of that. So yeah, it's a big nudge. Honor your voice, follow your voice, connect to your voice. Our voices are important. We each have a unique signature voice. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. And we're being invited to sing together. So thank you so much, Jikara, for having me here. So happy it finally happened, because you have been here.
I've been like, please come, please come. So I'm so grateful. And yes, and thank you so much for sharing and for inviting us to play in such a beautiful way. And my prayer is that this conversation weaves in so much loving, compassionate energy into everyone that connects to this. So that's my prayer. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. And yeah, let me know in the comments, y'all. Do you want her to come back? Let me know. And then I'll bring her back. But yeah, so I will go ahead and leave it as this. We're gonna go ahead and log off. I will see you again next week. I will have my SRT teacher actually is gonna be coming next week, and she's going to be talking about family tree and healing with our ancestors using the tool of the pendulum and some specialized charts that she channeled and created. So I'm super excited to bring her in and support her. Y'all get to meet my teacher, who was she changed my life. And just so y'all know, the reason why I connected to that teacher was because of Jenny. So it's so perfect that you came in and then my teacher's coming after. My teacher was supposed to come the week before. And then for whatever reason, things didn't work out. And then it's happening in such an interesting way where you are coming in first the week before she's coming. So it's incredible. I am so grateful. Jenny was the one that introduced me to my teacher. And so I love Jenny so much for many reasons. That's one of the reasons. And so I'm so excited that things are unfolding in the way that they are, and it's happening in the way that it's meant to. But yeah, so I want to invite y'all to come in and tune in for to connect. She's going to be doing some ancestral healing, collective ancestral healing for us. So make sure that you come in and receive and learn. And maybe if you want to learn from her, maybe you can take her class. She does have a class that she's opening up specifically for ancestral healing. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And I kind of wanted to also reiterate that I will be basically shifting my live streams on Instagram over to YouTube. So starting in July, I will be coming live YouTube on Mondays, every other Monday for readings. So if you're interested in readings, then those are the days you want to stay open to, to the post that I'm going to put out here. I'm trying to really bring everything, all of my lives into YouTube, so that everything is just in one place, and it's just easier for y'all to find the readings and all that good stuff. So that's all of the announcements that I have. Please make sure you go follow my beautiful friend, and I will see y'all later. Bye.
Love you, Jikara. Thank you.